From Studio 1A in Tampa, Florida, comes a talk show that really feels your pain and tells you like it is. We love America and all that freedom-loving Americans want to protect. Live from coast to coast and on your radio, it's For the People with Keith Allen.
We'll help you survive this thing called life. We're for the people. Whatever your source of stress or strife, for the people is there.
Well, hello, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. and Mrs. America. I am Keith Allen and proudly welcoming you to this edition of For the People. This week has been unbelievable. And before I even get into it, I got to tell you, and this is good advice for anybody that's conservative. If you have anything important that you must take care of and handle and you do not want to be upset, you need to not talk to a liberal before going on the air, because you don't get a word in edgewise. They say the same thing. But truthfully, if you ask them a question, they can't answer it, and they implode. It's a liberal disease of some sort. But truthfully, you have to realize that going into the conversation, and I fell for the bait and switch. Because there's always, well, you hit me with information that I don't have the stats, I don't have the statistics. And what I was talking about was the border. This is the conversation with DACA and at the border, and, I brought up a couple points, talking points, which, are pretty relevant in the great scheme of things, that other countries actually have borders. And she's like, no, they don't. And I'm like, so you're telling me that Canada doesn't have a border? You're telling me that Mexico doesn't have a border? Even Iraq has a border. Russia has a border. Countries have borders. I said, Israel doesn't have a border? None of them watch the border. They don't care what comes in, and what she tells me is, who's going to pick your vegetables? So this is a typical liberal. Who's going to pick your vegetables? That just solves everything. Allow these illegal immigrants to just pile into our country because it's good for the farms. And then I said to her, I said, how much money do you think that these migrant workers send back to Mexico? And she goes, what, of the $5 that is minimum wage just $5? The last I checked, minimum wage was a little bit more than $5. Anyway, how much of the $5, she goes on to say, you think that they're going to send back? And I said, probably half of their salary. It goes back to Mexico. It helps Mexico, does not help us here. And meanwhile, they're on food stamps, on subsidies. Not all of them stay on that. I get those that want to have a better life and don't want to remain making minimum wage. They have dreams of their own, and they find it here in America. I'm not a immigrant hater. My grandfather was immigrants. They came over from England and settled over here. This is not an immigrant bashing radio show. It has never been that. It's just common sense, and it just seems like it eludes so many people. I got to tell you, this week, a bombshell with the IG, and it just blew off the top for all those liberals and all those naysayers to say nothing happened sinister at the FBI, and that what Donald Trump did to poor James Comey. What are you going to say about this week, folks? The Inspector General, the information came in. DOJ Inspector General Michael Horowitz comes out with a report, which was the result, folks, of an 18-month-long investigation. 18 months. And Trump said that the report, which found ex-FBI Director James Comey was insubordinate, showed Trump was justified in firing him. Interesting scene on the White House lawn today. Donald Trump gets on with Fox News, an impromptu. They did not realize he was going to do it. He loves Fox News, of course. We got Steve Ducey introducing Donald Trump, talking about these very things.
Are we on already?
We're on. We're live.
Oh, wow, that's good.
We're on every channel.
We had a very exciting trip over here, I have to say.
No kidding.
It was good. It was good. How are you?
I'm doing okay. I was here for the baseball game. How about Steve Scalise last night?
I think he's great. How about the play? The first play of the game?
Unbelievable.
He's a great guy.
Courageous.
Right. Like you.
Yeah. Huh? Sure. Having you stop by live, I got some questions for you.
I was mugged by the media.
They've got questions for you. I'm hoping I can ask a lot of the questions they've got.
They're very, very nice people.
The IG report came out yesterday. The FBI looks bad.
Very bad.
Your FBI?
Well, no, it was Comey. I mean, they were talking about Comey, not my FBI. It was Comey. The people in the FBI are incredible. I would bet if you took a poll in the FBI, I would win that poll by more than anybody's ever won a poll. But the top people were horrible. You look at what happened. They were plotting against my election. Probably has never happened like that in terms of intelligence, in terms of anything else. Right. But they were actually plotting against my election.
The headline right now
is... I'm actually proud because I beat Clinton dynasty.
Right.
I beat Bush dynasty. And now, I guess, hopefully I'm in the process of beating very dishonest intelligence, because what they did was incredible. And a real insult to millions of people that voted in that election on both sides.
The headline right now from the Wall Street Journal: DOJ Clinton report blasts Comey and agents but finds no bias in conclusion.
Well, the end result was wrong. I mean, there was total bias. I mean, when you look at Peter Strzok and what he said about me, when you look at Comey, all his moves. So I guess, it's interesting. It was a pretty good report. And then I say that the IG blew it at the very end with that statement, because when you read the report, it was almost like Comey. He goes point after point about how guilty Hillary is. Mm-hmm. And then he said, but we're not going to do anything about it. The report, the IG report, was a horror show. I thought that one sentence of conclusion was ridiculous.
What about apparently the lovebirds talking about you? We will stop it.
Yeah, they said they will stop me. Well, in the meantime, the economy hit an all-time high this morning. Never been better. Jobless rate, the lowest, the best in 44 years, just came out. Mm-hmm. We're going to have some incredible things. We're just announcing very big tariffs today on China, because China has been, look, he's my friend, President Xi. He's a great man. He's a wonderful guy, but at some point, we have to straighten it out. We lost $500 billion.
Folks, the IG report, total disaster for Comey and also his minions. And sadly, the FBI. Comey will now officially go down as the worst leader by far in the history of the FBI. Donald Trump, he definitely did a great service in firing him. He had great instincts. The IG report, ladies and gentlemen, is out. You should read it. But yes, there were anti-Trump haters conspiring. And it started at the top. There was this long love fest that was going on. And I think James Comey needs to do us all a favor and really immerse himself in liberal doctrine and become a liberal bleeding heart Democrat and be an Obama lover, because what he has done is really just tarnished his entire career and also made his minions and everybody else around him, the FBI, just damaging because of this love fest with Obama. Hated Trump, loved Obama. Hated Trump, loved Obama. Long time. And so much so to damage his career. To damage it forever. Yes, anybody that was ever angry at Donald Trump for doing it said it would look bad. Conservatives now, what do you have to say about this? It's an 18-year 18-month 18 years would be a long, but 18 months showed these emails, showed these texts. and showed that they had it in for Donald Trump all along. But even despite all of that, moving ahead, even despite all of that, Donald Trump won the election. He won the election. And yes, I'm glad that Donald Trump puts a positive note today on the economy, the best economy, the greatest economy, and continues to build. The joblessness is down everywhere. There's this new sense of entrepreneurship that I've never seen before. I have a voiceover seminar in the Miami Fort Lauderdale area, and I'm excited of filling up this conference center on the 23rd. If you're interested in voiceover, by the way, it's in Plantation. It's in the Fort Lauderdale area. At the Hyatt Place. And you can go to ihaveagoodvoice.com if you've ever thought about doing commercials, audiobooks, characters, or anything like that. This is a seminar that you want to attend 3 hours on a Saturday. And it's worth flying in for. The early bird special, $99. It's $125 this Saturday at 5 o'clock. It'll go up to full price for a week. So take advantage. Hey, $26. It's $26, but $99 right now for the early bird special for the seminar, which is absolutely terrific. But, man, people are back to work, and this is a back-to-work president. And I, for one, am very proud. I knew all along that Comey was covering, did not want. People say, well, no, Donald Trump should love James Comey, because if it wasn't for James Comey and all of these particulars, Hillary Clinton would have been the president. I disagree. I totally disagree with those comments. I think Hillary Clinton was not going to get in at all, no matter how much money, no matter how many networks were stacked against or newspapers stacked against, no matter how much money that was fueled into it, it just did not happen. And my hypothesis of this whole conversation, I think, stems from one reason. And I sincerely believe this because of my faith. I believe because of Franklin Graham and good Americans that prayed, changed the trajectory of our country. Could you imagine? Do you think that these numbers on Wall Street, do you think these numbers in the joblessness rate, all of these particular victories with North Korea, all these particulars would even be a factor if Hillary Clinton, rotten Clinton, was in the White House? No. The country would just be down, going to Hades. It would be like Sodom and Gomorrah. I believe this gives us a revival in our country. It's reviving our land. You see vegetables sprouting up where vegetables didn't sprout before. I think the land is beginning to be happy, and our founding fathers are not moving around so much in their grave right now. They're able to actually rest in peace. Lord God, having Hillary Clinton in the White House. Wow. Critics have suggested that Trump's firing of Comey amounted to obstruction of justice. Though Deputy Attorney General wrote a recommendation that Comey be fired. Did you know that? Trump reportedly told Russia officials on May 2017 that Comey was a real nut job. It indicated the firing had to do with facing great pressure because of Russia and an apparent reference to Special Counsel Robert Mueller's investigation into alleged collusion between Moscow and the Trump campaign. The Inspector General's released new text messages between the two, suggesting that they would stop Trump from becoming president. They even said that. Just stop him becoming president. Those were the exact words. We're going to stop the FBI, folks. This is serious stuff. Donald Trump's instincts are working. Donald Trump's instincts are working over here. They're working over in North Korea. They're working around the world. Now, I know it's so early to do a victory dance for North Korea, but we have remains coming back from North Korea that families have wanted for so many years. And instead of liberals praising